to this. Okay. First of all, the first thing we need to pay attention to solving this problem is that this number here, that one needs to be just x squared. It can't be 3x squared. So what do we have to do? Divide by everything by 3. So then you get your x squared, 4/3 x minus 5 equals 0. Now, next step, move the 5 and leave 2 blanks. So I'm going to leave the 2 blanks in a way that you leave them underneath the problem so they don't get in your way. Kind of like put them underneath so that they don't interfere with what you're working with, the rest of the numbers. So I'm going to put it way underneath because I'm seeing students kind of like not sure where to put the numbers for the third step, for the second step. So now we fill in the blanks. So first, half of 4/3. And you multiply these fractions straight across. So you multiply them straight across, you get what? 4/6, which reduces to 2/3. Put a box. I know it sounds dumb, but I'm seeing lots of mistakes because you don't follow this simple step. First, not that you have to write first, but you need to multiply, take 1/2, multiply straight across, 4/6, reduce 2/3. For the second step, one of the things that you could do, so you didn't have to write it again, is just show that you're squaring it. You don't have to write it fancy, but just do something so that you can see that you are squaring it. And if I square that, I get what? 4/9. And put a box. It helps to reference what numbers you need. So what goes in the blank? 4/9. So if I put the blank underneath, it makes it easier so it doesn't interfere with what I'm writing. So you write 4/9 here. Another thing is I get from students when I'm looking at papers, or when I'm getting asked for help on these and everything, is not sure what to do next. What the next step that you follow to get here. I get that a lot. And then here I'll put 5/1 also. So, which number goes in this blank? Which number? 2/3. So plus 2/3. And then over here, can I add 5 plus 4 9s? No, they need common denominator of 1 and 9. The bigger number, 9. In these problems, it will always be the bigger number. It just works out. So I don't really want to say that, but in these problems it is. So this already has the 9, so that just stays 4/9. Multiply 1 times 9, 5 times 9, 45. So that you get 49/9. Because you have the 9 on the bottom, combine the 45 and the 4, you get your 49. Over here you have your x plus 2/3 squared. So it's nice, simple steps, just practice. Go over this problem again, from memory. And if you need notes, go use the notes. But practice this problem and then practice it again faster. Now here, when you take the square root of both sides, the easiest way to see this is that this is the square root of a fraction. So really, another way that you can think about this is it's the square root of 49 over the square root of 9. It's a fraction. You can break it into those two pieces, numerator, denominator. So let's work it out that way. And if we do, we're going to get x plus 2/3 equals to, what's the sign? Plus or minus, and then square root of 49. 7 over square root of 9, 3. So that's how that works out. It's a perfect square, both of them, top and bottom, so we get that. And just moving along, subtract the 2/3 so that we get, which one do we write first? The one number with a fancy sign or the simple sign? With a simple sign, it makes it easier to think that way. The number with a simple sign first before the fancy sign. And actually, I'm glad we worked this problem because you're going to be able to see why it is simpler. They have the same denominator, so what goes on the top? What goes on the top? The -2 plus or minus 7. The -2 plus or minus 7 goes on the top. Just lower it a little. So here's why, if I write the simple sign first and then the fancy sign, why it makes sense. Because you have to think of this as x being -2 first, the plus 7 over the 3, and then x being the -2 minus the 7 over the 3. So there's your plus and minus in action. -2 plus 7, -2 minus 7, plus or minus. Conceptually, it makes it easier to think that way instead of 7 minus 2 and -7 minus 2. That's not as comfortable as it is to see -2 plus 7, -2 minus 7, plus or minus. Okay? So the simple sign first. Now continue this. -2 plus 7. 5 over 3. We're done. Or -2 minus 7. -9 over 3, which reduces to -3, and we're done. So that's our answer. 5/3, -3. Okay? So we have this problem to just be a practice, and so I stop this.